Hello YouTube, thought I'd do a quick video here on COM ports. I'm going to kind of show you how to set up your COM port. Now like I said before, my interface board, you need to get a USB db9 adapter. When you get that adapter, you're going to have to install the drivers for that. Now once you get the drivers installed, it should pop up telling you what your COM port number is. Okay? And if you don't know or you didn't pay attention, what you can do is you can go to, let's go back to the desktop here. What you do is you go to your search bar, you type in Device Manager, you call this window up, and you go to COM ports, and it'll be in here. Now I have a few of them installed, so that's why it's showing 3 of them here. I have my COM port I just showed you, which is COM port 3, but I'm also using that virtual COM port software, so I can run 2 programs at once, sharing 1 COM port. That's why I show 3 of them here. Most likely you're only going to have 1 here, but you got to note what the COM port number is. In my case, since I'm sharing it, because I use that software, I will post that link on how to share your COM port. I'll post a link to that video. I need to set my COM port to COM port 1 when it comes to my date and time and my Zello. So let me show you how to do that. So the date and time, you go to COM port. In my case, it's COM port 1. I selected COM port 1. I already did a video on these other settings, but just to refresh your memory is if you want it to play over, if you want your date and time, your repeater ID, and whether to play over Zello, then make sure you check the DTR pin 4. You must always have the RTS pin 7 checked for this interface board to work. And again, if you want it so that when someone's keying up on a radio, whether it's a mobile or a handheld, if you don't want the date and time to play while it's being keyed up, then you check the DCD pin 1 box. Okay? But make sure you select the right COM port here. Now when you go to Zello, you got to put it in gateway mode. And I'll post that video link down below on how to get your Zello in the gateway mode. You go to Tools, Options. You go to Radio. The transmit, which is PC to radio, you got to select here the right COM port number your USB db9 adapter came up under. Or if you're using that sharing virtual sharing software, you got to use that COM port number. In my case, I am, so it's going to be COM port 1. Then you got to make sure RTS is selected and that is set to high for the interface board to work. Now we go over to the receive part. Again, make sure you select the right COM port number. In my case, it's COM port 1. Then we select DSR. Make sure that's selected and it's high. If you change this to anything else, the interface board will not work. Same with the transmit. Make sure that's set to RTS high. Do not change it to anything else or the interface board will not work. Okay? Hit apply, hit OK. When you do this over here on the date and time, I should mention, after you select all this, it's best to go to File and Save Configurations. So when you call it up, it automatically has those settings in there. And the date and time does tell you your COM port number, as I said in other videos. Let me get my fancy pen here. And you can see it right here. In my case, it's COM port 1. So that's, you can quickly glance at the program and make sure it's right. Okay. Now I'm going to re-say this again. I'm running 2 programs at once sharing the same COM port adapter. I did a video on how to do that. I'll post that video link down below. But if you're going to run 2 programs at once, you need to run that special virtual COM port sharing software. Otherwise, you cannot run 2 programs at once. If you're just going to run 1 program at a time, whether it's Zello or the date and time, then you do not need to install that special virtual COM port software. I want to be clear about that. Okay? So that's all you got to do to get your COM port settings set up with this software. You just got to know what the COM port number is, and you got to enter that in the software. So hopefully this video will help you. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you and have a good day.